FA Umbro Trophy final between Forest Green Rovers of the conference and Canvey Island, who are hoping to become the first team from outside the conference to win the trophy in 20 years. Kickoff is at 12 o'clock. The Nuneaton Borough manager Steve Burr is with me. Now, most people are going for the conference team today, Steve. How do you see it developing?
I think most people would go for Forest Green, but I think it'll be a close game today. You know, Canvey have had a super season, probably been the victim of their own success really with games in the leagues that they've had to play. But I think it's going to be a tight game, but I'm sure that hopefully it'll be a good game.
Canvey have had this extraordinary run of fixtures over the past couple of weeks. I know they've had a blank week over the last 5 or 6 days, but is that going to have an effect this afternoon, do you think?
No, I don't think so. They've had a full week to prepare for today's game, so I mean they'll have had a good rest compared to playing sort of 5 games in 5 days the previous week. So I'm sure that they've prepared well, but they've had a great season. You know, had good cup games, knocked out Port Vale and things like that. But Forest Green a bit different, struggling for relegation, managed to stay clear of relegation, and you know, they've done well in the FA Cup, in the FA Trophy. So I mean, you know. Yeah,
and they've put together a decent run of form. I think it's unbeaten in 11 now, not conceded in something like 5 games. So they must be going into the match full of confidence.
That's right. Yeah, they've had a good run of late, and you know, there's 1 or 2 players in the Forest Green team that have had experience at Villa Park before. So I'm sure they'll be looking forward to it.
Is it going to be a disappointment for the players that they're at Villa Park today and not at Wembley?
Maybe, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's a cup final, and Villa Park is a fantastic stadium. But I know probably 1 or 2 of them are probably a bit disappointed that they're not going to go to Wembley, because sometimes it's a chance in a lifetime. And but I'm sure that all the lads will be looking forward to the game today. And as I say, I think the atmosphere will be good at Villa Park.
Okay, Steve, well, more from you at half-time. As I say, kickoff is fast approaching. Jimmy Greaves is the guest of honour just across the city. What a beautiful afternoon here in Birmingham, and Jimmy is full of smiles, of course. But it's a great moment, Steve, isn't it, for these players? As you say, it may not be Wembley, but it's going to be the highlight for most of them, I imagine.
Yes, I think so, and like I say, I think if you ask a lot of players what would they sooner do, whether they play in the final or win a league, they'd say they're playing a trophy final.
Well, Jimmy is still busy being introduced to everybody. Our match commentators this afternoon are Graham Turner and Rob Palmer.
Thank you, Marcus. It's traditional sunshine for a cup final day held in Birmingham at Villa Park. Of course, if part of the nation gets its way, the National Stadium may well be built here. Canvey Island and Forest Green, 2 teams who arrive in the Midlands with rugged determination for the 32nd FA Trophy final. Canvey Island looking to become the first club from outside the top league, the conference these days, to win the trophy since Bishop Stortford back in 1981. Forest Green hoping to make a bit of history as well. They want to become the first club to win the Vase and the FA Trophy. They won the Vase back at Wembley Stadium in 1982, beating Rainworth Miners Welfare. They almost won the trophy a couple of years ago, but they lost at Wembley. Both clubs have brought a fair following to Villa Park today. Watch out for the ticker tape reception for Forest Green. The team in yellow have got one fan who's actually managed to take on board 14 sets of yellow pages, which he's going to shower the players with around kickoff time. As you can see, bare-chested weather. Nerves jangling. Jimmy Greaves, popular with both sides. Of course, he played non-league football not far away from Canvey Island for Barnet after his illustrious league career finished, and well respected in the Midlands. Well known to the Forest Green players. Traditional handshakes. Jimmy Greaves, the guest of honour today. Jeff Thompson from the FA. And also being introduced to all of the players. And as always on Cup Final Day, we stand to attention for the national anthem. scene is set. It's always a heartbreak for a manager on cup final day. 20 Canvey Island players travelled with a chance of playing. This is the lucky 11. Experienced, determined, a few names recognisable. Mick Bodley, a Barry Fry disciple, played for him at 3 clubs. Mark Stimson, of fame with Newcastle and Portsmouth. They're both 33. There's a couple of youngsters trying to make a name for themselves. Wayne Vaughan, 28 goals this season. He was on Tottenham's books. And John Kennedy, who made his Premiership debut for Ipswich Town in a live Sky game a couple of years ago. This is a 5-3-2 formation, Graham Turner.
A vastly experienced side in the trophy this year. They've defended extremely well against some decent conference sides. So we expect them to be solid at the back. But I think the boy that makes them tick is Tilson in midfield. I think if he can get onto the ball, he can certainly cause Forest Green some problems. And I know Forest Green are aware of that. Very, very experienced side. A place like Villa Park, a cup final won't faze them in any way.
As for Forest Green, Graham is qualified to talk about them. Unfortunately, his side, Hereford, were beaten in the semi-finals by the team from close to Stroud. Well, Forest Green's selection is a little easier. 6 regulars, a cup tied. So they've mollycoddled a number of their stars to get them fit. Jason Drysdale, formerly of Newcastle and Watford, hasn't played for a month. Stuart Slater, once of West Ham, Celtic and Ipswich, has been used sparingly. And Tony Daly has beaten the odds. The former England winger takes his roaming role in the Forest Green team.
Another experienced side. I think one player that can hold the key to causing problems for Canvey Island is Tony Daly. It's just his sort of scene. He's very experienced. He's still got his pace. He's not had a particularly good season in the conference, but I expect if he can get on the ball for him to sparkle today. But again, solid at the back, fair amount of experience across midfield, and the workhorse in there is Martin Foster. I think he's a very good player, and again could have a big influence on the game.
Well, it is an emotional return to Villa Park for Tony Daly. He was a player of yours at the club, Graham, wasn't he?
Yes, he made his debut while I was here at Villa Park. Went on to become a very good winger. Perhaps his career petered out a little bit. Maybe should have done better, but always been an entertainer with his pace and his ability to go past defenders.
Another recognisable face is Stuart Slater, who moved from West Ham to Celtic for £1.5 million. His career kind of went off the tracks when he moved to Australia. The club he signed for over there, a team called Carlton, went bust. He's back in England, and he's had a good season with Forest Green.
Yes, indeed. I would imagine viewers are not familiar with the conference or leagues outside of the Football League would be surprised at the number of faces that they suddenly recognise in this game. You know, another vastly experienced player, had a good career at West Ham and Celtic, and again, can handle situations like this, won't be fazed. He'll get onto the ball and he'll set things going for Forest Green from midfield.
Well, the player that you've singled out in the Canvey Island team is Steve Tilson, the captain. He's just been named the Southend United Player of the Millennium. Great honour. He hopes a greater honour today will be lifting that trophy. Well,
it is a terrific honour, isn't it, to get that vote at Southend. He's been a good pro over the years, played a lot of league matches at Southend, and as I said before, he can be a big influence on the game today.
The referee today is Alan Wiley, and he has experienced men on the line, Mr. Short and Mr. Kettle. Nigel Spink, joint manager with David Norton. They'll find out next week which one of the two will get the job. They're joint managers at the moment, but the board have decided they can only employ one full-time manager. So it's going to be a tough call, Graham, isn't it?
It is, and I feel sorry for whichever one doesn't get it, but they've settled the situation, they know where they stand, and it'll be a handshake and a parting on the best of terms with each other. It's a shame one of them's got to go, but I don't think joint managers work out in football clubs, so they're probably making the right decision.
I think they've decided whichever one doesn't get it will depart, but they've certainly made a name for themselves at Forest Green Rovers. Escaped relegation from the conference and brought the side to a cup final. It's Canvey Island in the yellow shirts who kick off, the team who grabbed the headlines earlier in the season with their FA Cup exploits. They earned a thrilling 4-4 draw at Port Vale against Port Vale, beat them in the second leg and then played in front of almost 12,000 against Southend United. Forest Green have the star attraction in Tony Daly, 7 England caps. He's been given the freedom to roam today by the joint managers. Of course, it will be decided today, extra time and penalties if required, though the FA Trophy final has never gone to a penalty shootout. This is the first trophy final not to have been held at Wembley Stadium. A bit of a disappointment for a number of the players, but of course for a number at Forest Green to return to Villa Park. David Norton and Nigel Spink, the managers, Tony Daly, a couple of the substitutes as well, Luke Prince and Matthew Gent, all been on Villa's books. They've been wished well today by John Gregory, the Aston Villa manager. Meanwhile, there has been a facts of good wishes from Peter Taylor, once a Canvey Island player. He started his career in the Yellow Army. Tilson was the star attraction, number 7. Good challenge on Parmento. That's Chris Burns, the shaven-headed midfield player. Played in an FA Cup semi-final with Portsmouth against Liverpool back in '92. There's Tony Daly, needs no introduction to the fans around here. Cousins over the top. Nick Bodley lets the ball go out of play. Nick Bodley, 33 years of age, 7 league clubs. He's got a little break from work. He has been getting to bed at midnight after this glut of games, and getting up at 4 in the morning. He's a postman by profession. Burns. Kennedy. King for Vaughan. Very fast player. He's got a lot of goals this season, Wayne Vaughan. 28 in total. Tries down his throat. It's taken him a month to get fit for this big day. Well, they're down to the bare bones, Forest Green Rovers. Here's Tony Daly, back on familiar ground. 7 years since he played here for Aston Villa, and he's drawn first blood.
That's a great start for him, isn't it? It's a lovely run. Been brought down in the end. Forest Green are usually quite good from their set pieces. They'll have 1 or 2 things organised, and in Billy Clark they've got a bit of size and physical presence in there to make it count.
They've had a couple of days to work on their preparation, Forest Green Rovers. They've had an excellent build-up. The managers are a little worried that it's been too comfortable. Stuart Slater goes for glory. And a confidence-building save for the Canvey Island keeper, Ashley Harrison. They're hoping he stays fit today and doesn't get battered and bruised, because he's the only goalkeeper on the books who qualifies for the FA Trophy. Ward's header. Kennedy. Commander, 2 sides are committed to playing flowing football. Maybe a lot of up and under stuff. All whacked away by Lockwood, who's on loan. He'll be returning to Reading at the end of the season, hoping to secure a longer term contract, and that's way offside. Alex Meacham joined the club from Bristol City, surplus to Danny Wilton's requirements.
There's one feature I can notice at the moment, and that is that Cousins, the right back for Forest Green, tucks a long way in. Tony Daly's given this free roll, it might leave a big hole down that side for Duffy to exploit, the left back of Canvey Island. So it's one thing he'll be watching for, to see whether they can get the left back in behind the defenders of Forest Green.
Bodley to goalkeeper Ashley Harrison. I know that I think I can reveal it now that Nigel Spink and David Norton decided they're going to play Tony Daly on the side of the field that Tilson is not playing on. Here is Daly. Burns, a young Morby type figure in the centre of the field. That's fine passing ability. Usually there's a kiss of death. The Forest Green Rovers have had one of the worst scoring records in the conference this season. In fact, the worst scoring record. Their best performances have come in the trophy. 6 against Barton Rovers, 4 in the semi-final. Sorry, Graham.
Thanks for reminding me of that, Rob.
They were the underdogs against you as well, weren't they?
Rub it in.
Canvey Island also hit 5 in the early rounds against Northwood. They beat Chester City with surprising ease in the semi-finals, 4-0 on aggregate, 2-0 at home, 2-0 away. Here's Burns. Lady Foster did the rounds in the lower leagues, played for Hereford, Rushton, Torquay. A friend of the manager, they played together at Yeovil. Jeff King, a larger-than-life character in many ways. A big businessman on Canvey Island, owns with his family a mobile home park and a nightclub. Robbie Williams and Take That have played there. It'll be quite a celebration tonight if they're victorious against Forest Green. Lockwood looking long to free Meechan. Fast, menacing player, Alex Meechan. Scorer 4 goals in 15 appearances for Bristol City, but not enough to convince Danny Wilson that he should stay in the West Country. Look at the congestion on the goal line there, Grant.
Well, Drysdale usually puts it in with a little bit of quality, so we can expect it to arrive in that area.
There's about 12 players all inside the 6-yard box. Goalkeeper sticks on his line. Headed away by Bodley. Forward hits it long, easily cut out by Clark. Martin Foster taking a tumble, who won the FA Youth Cup with Leeds United. Unfortunately, he didn't become one of David O'Leary's babes. Confidence building catch from Steve Perry. Player of the season, a massive kick as well, and the Canvey keeper's come way off his line. In the Midlands sunshine, went South American loco there, Ashley Harrison.
There's a bit of a rush of blood there. I think the defender would have dealt with it, but they've got away with it. Neither side have really settled into the game yet. Both sides are far better than they've shown so far. There's not really been too much constructive football. I think that will come.
Well, Ashley Harrison, you may recognise the face, and not necessarily from his footballing ability. He has a part-time job as an actor on Sky's Dream Team. He plays the goalkeeper, surprisingly. It's a bit of an edge in the game. Wayne Vaughan's gone down, and Mr. Wiley has a difficult situation to sort out. in Painborn. I'm not quite sure what the connection was. It was a heavy landing on him, I suppose. Oh dear, and his leg was stuck in the turf, wasn't it?
That was quite serious, that. He did fall quite badly.
It was an accidental collision rather than any malice attached to it, though.
I think it was. Forest Green got the free kick. His foot was high when he went into the tackle, but he did fall awkwardly.
It's the first call of the afternoon for 72-year-old Harry Johnson. Once a Busby babe. Heads off for Turkey in midweek. He was actually the sponge man for Fenerbahce once. Still full of enthusiasm, and I think there's still a bit of magic in that sponge.
There's some great characters around the scene in football, isn't there? Particularly as you go a little bit lower.
There's some great stories to tell. Obviously, still got the touch. Wayne Vaughan looks okay. He's not going to hold out of this cup final. Foster, easily headed away by Kennedy. But Vaughan back on the field and fighting fit, trying to free Neil Gregory. I've seen already that Perrin has an almighty kick. Maybe the not-so-secret weapon.
He does kick it ever such a long way, and I'd like to see the Forest Green midfield just push on a little bit further, because if they can start winning the knockdowns in midfield, they can get the ball in very good areas.
Brave header from the easily recognisable Mark Stimson. One of the veterans of the side, began his career at Tottenham Hotspur, made his first division Premiership at his now debut there, and he's working at the club again as part of their academy. Almost 250 games in the Football League. He's got a vital goal in the semi-finals against Chester. Clark heads away. Lockwood. Shot from Steve Parmenter. Former Welsh under-21 striker. He's scored 11 goals this season. He's got a fair return from midfield.
Yeah, it was a very good strike. It certainly warmed the hands of the Canvey Island supporters now. They've got something to cheer about. It was quite a good strike, but always looked as though it was going to go wide. Drysdale and David Norton having one or two words about who would take the free kick. They've obviously looked at one or two things, and David wanted Cousins on the ball and not Drysdale.
Cousins hits it long. Good clear call from Harrison. Wayne Vaughan. Nice first touch from the former Tottenham man. 21 years of age, is hoping that he may get a move to a top-class league club. He was an England schoolboy. Foster. Lockwood. Not offside this time. As well from Meacham, but his touch let him down.
He snatched at his shot, he got more time than he realised, and normally he's quite a good finish. He's got a good record this season of goal scoring, and I would have expected him to have done better on that one.
18 goals this season, but it's a massive occasion. The premier event in non-league football. Taken quickly. It's Gregory. It's a good open game.
It is, yes.
Things are just warming up, Greg.
Canvey Island's first corner. I'll see what they're about, see whether they've got anything organised. Two on the ball, they've taken Forest Green a little bit by surprise.
Stimson delivers it. Great goal! What a great goal! Chenery! His first of the season. time to scoring. Glory be, Ben Chenery.
Well, they went totally to sleep, Forest Green defenders. Caught with 2 out on the ball, and then Chenery drifted in, got himself completely free for a fairly simple header in the end. But what a great start now for Canvey Island. And if you look at their records, certainly Forest Green have got to step up their tempo of the game if they're going to cause Canvey Island any problems at the back, because so far they've been very disappointing going forward.
We have to say it was a well-rehearsed routine. Canvey catching Forest Green cold. And they do it again. Forest Green seem to have gone to sleep. A lot of experience in that defence. No time for an inquest just yet. Now can Forest Green shake themselves down and readjust their pattern of play? It's a rough challenge. The referee hasn't seen fit to look at play yet. It's getting a little hot-tempered in the heat at Villa Park.
Well, it's starting to warm up, isn't it? The goal's done the game the world of good, and suddenly you feel a better atmosphere about the place now. The tempo of the game will speed up a little bit. That's good for the game, that goal. We needed that desperately to set things going.
Mr. Wine, I think, decides against a card to match the colour of Mick Bodley's shirt. Just a word of warning. Now there's an edge to the game. Drysdale looks long. Clark up from the back. He got a header, but he'd been pushing.
Yeah, I think they drift those balls too wide. I think they've got to give the on-rushing forwards a chance to get in there. And if you throw those balls in too far away from goal, they're never going to trouble the goalkeeper. But what a great ball it was in for the Canvey Island goal. 2 out on the ball, and they just drifted a lovely ball into the middle of the 6-yard box for a great finish.
Ben Chenery hasn't scored a goal this season. He was the hero for Jeff King in the penalty shootout in the 5th round of the FA Trophy. Now Vaughan going for a second quick-fire goal, and it was a nice save by Perrin. Maybe Parmento, when he looks back on that, will feel that he could have struck it with a little more venom.
He's making some good forward runs, Parmenter, and he got on the end of that one. That's the second strike he's had at goal.
Oof, that was late, very late. I don't think Drysdale can argue with the inevitable yellow card.
No, it's just a clumsy tackle, that, wasn't it? So late. I don't think the referee has got any option but to produce the yellow card. But they're suddenly all over the place, Forest Green. The strike from Parmenter a couple of seconds ago, you know, it was fairly simple, straightforward defensive play that they should have dealt with it, the Forest Green defenders, fairly comfortably, but they allowed him to get in behind them and get a striking goal.
Looking for Jason Drysdale, who may be a little ring rusty after a month out, struggling with injury, lacking sharpness there. Lockwood, now Tony Daly. Like the old days here, gets, as a Villa fan told me earlier today, bums off seats. Clark, Foster, now Lockwood. Chenery, who's floating on air at the moment after his cup final goal. It's a nightmare for the Forest Green players, but then it couldn't have happened to anybody worse because he never stops talking. He's always got something to talk about. Gregory. Still, who's the playmaker in midfield, has some great skills. Hasn't yet managed to free Tony Daly. Tilton. Kennedy's cross. Behind is the cry. Vaughan on the prowl, but Clark clears.
Forest Green have got to start getting better service to the front men. So far they've hardly had a decent pass, and they've certainly got to get Tony Daly in more advanced positions on the ball.
They seem to have had a little defensive reshuffle, Forest Green. Cousins started as right back. He's moved into the middle now, with Lockwood moving on to the right. Stimson. Parmenter. Some rare old tackles.
That's a lovely bit of skill then from Slater.
Again, which has been played in fine spirit, but there is that great competitive edge as well. Stimson missed him. Parmenter didn't. Stimson got him the second time.
I'm not quite sure why, but it looks as though Forest Green have changed to 3 central defenders, with Cousins coming into the middle in order to push Drysdale a little bit further forward. And in the changes, the reshuffle, I think there's been a little bit of confusion.
Well, they didn't really come here with a set plan either side. They've shuffled their formations around in the final weeks of the season. And both managers said to me before the game they'd see how the other team lined up before deciding on their formation. It's like a game of footballing chess, isn't it?
I suppose in some ways it's a little bit negative as well, especially at this level, where I wouldn't worry too much about the opposition. We've got our side, we'll put it out the way we want to play, and let the opposition worry about us. I'm quite surprised that here can talk about wait to see what the opposition are doing.
Steve Ward, another player who hasn't scored this season. The odds are, I think they're 66-1 against him scoring a goal. Cousins to Drysdale. Billy Clark clears. A touch of nerves from a player who spent a decade in the Football League. He signed from Forest Green from Exeter. It's a shock to the Forest Green system, because defensively they've been sound. Didn't concede a goal in the final 4 games of the season.
Canvey Island are looking very confident now. They're knocking the ball about reasonably well, and they've got their tails up. The goal has done them a power of good, and they do look as though they're in control of the game at the moment.
Well, this is the possession. As you can see, it's evenly matched. Slater overrunning the ball. He last played at Villa Park in his Ipswich Town days 7 years ago. It's the final few steps of a marathon for both of these clubs. Poor old Canvey Island. I rang the manager to see if I could go see them play in the build-up, and he said, "Come see us Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday." That's 6 games in 6 days.
That's some programme, isn't it? I wonder how Premiership managers would react to a programme like that.
Of course, they have to fit their work in around their football as well. The postmen, the bricklayers, the window cleaners. As fast as ever. Foster. That's a very loose pass cut out by Kennedy, who keeps going. Taken on all comers. Perrin comes Kennedy. Well, with a death-defying run at goal.
Showed a terrific amount of determination there to take him through a couple of tackles, and it was unfortunate in the end. The keeper Perrin did quite well to block him in the end.
He's a large obstacle, Steve Perrin. To goalkeeper Harrison. Now Chenery, scorer of the Canvey Island goal. Gregory was running back from an offside position, but the flag stayed down. Perrin uses his build to let the ball roll out of play. Well, it was a nightmarish back pass, wasn't it?
It was. Went for the first tackle, went quite bravely there, but so too did the keeper, and the keeper got the breaks.
Foster. Before, the last 4 finals have been settled by a single goal. Forest Green lost at Wembley against Kingstonian back in 1999. A little history about becoming the first club to reach the Vase and the trophy. They want to become the first club to win both. Odds are against them at the moment. The Islanders doing well. Steve Ward, that was a rash tackle.
Well, let's see what Forest Green could produce from this free kick. Certainly the delivery has been very disappointing so far.
Slater who delivers. That's well hit by the ball. Anywhere will do. Goalkeeper Harrison well protected by Ward. It's a good throw as well, setting Forest Green away. Nice turn from Stinson, and now who set up the Canvey goal. Parmenter. Cousins. Daly on defensive duty. Well, you've seen him so far in fits and starts, the former England international.
Well, he's getting the ball far too deep, and to be fair to Tony, people have got to get the ball to him for him to be effective, and so far I can't remember him having any decent service.
Ward. Parmenter. Run from Kennedy. It's a fine cross, and Lockwood, well, he headed it towards his own goal. His goalkeeper just stood there and froze, fearing the worst. He tells you he knows what he was doing. I'm not sure the goalkeeper was convinced by that.
Canvey Island are looking far more threatening of the two sides, and it's another difficult ball to deal with for Lockwood. He dealt with it fairly well in the end, but certainly Canvey Island have got the tails up now.